Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters community, is brought to you by Husqvarna Viking, keeping the world sewing for over 140 years. Hi, welcome to Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters community. I'm Mary Kate Karr-Petras, and I'm here today with my associate editor, partner in crime at Quilters Newsletter, Gigi Khalsa.
Hello.
Gigi, hi. Gigi's super creative, if you don't know that about her already, and today you are here to tell us about this adorable little fan bag. What do you call it again?
It's a bag that's shaped like a fan.
A fan bag, yes.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
And you just made this with some leftovers from a block you were testing or some tool you were testing.
Yeah,
with,
I was playing around with the block lock Bloomin Cogwheel Rulers, and I had a couple leftover wedges, and I didn't know what to do with them, so I came up with a cute little bag, and it holds, you know, a couple essentials, not a whole lot of stuff, but it's a lot of fun.
Adorable. Well, let's jump right in.
Okay, great.
About how to make this.
So these are the rulers that you use. They come in a couple different sizes, but whatever size you choose, you do need the pair, the A and B. So how they work is they work with strip sets, and these little grooves lock into your seams on the strip sets and makes it really easy and fun to cut.
Okay.
So you see the seams up, seams down, and that means you just have to press all your seams in the same direction. So here's my strip set. I made some back quarters, cut them into strips, and all your strips need to be in increments of 1 inch. So 1 inch, and I've got my 2-inch strip in the middle here, but you don't want to do 1/2 inches because it won't fit into the grooves. So here my seams are up. I'm going to take the seams up ruler, and I'm just going to position it right there. And you see how it doesn't move.
It doesn't. It does lock in with a certain amount of pressure.
Yeah,
Right.
so it locks in. It's not going anywhere, and I'm going to go ahead and make my first cut. So I'm just going to turn this around because I'm right-handed. Lock that in again, and just go ahead and cut. And now I'll turn this back and just reposition it, making sure that my fabric is lined up. Looks good. And I'll make that second cut to get my first wedge. Now I need the other ruler. Lock that right in there. And cut. And you just go,
keep going.
Keep going. The only thing about this pattern is if you use fat quarters like I did, you do need 2 strip sets, which is kind of like, you wish you could get them all from one, but you can't.
Oh, okay.
So just so you know.
Okay.
So that's it. You need 10 wedges for your bag.
Okay.
So just cut 10, and then when you've got all those, you can arrange them out. And you do need to alternate your strips. You know, I made mine sort of symmetrical on both sides, so it would look like a little sort of continuous design, but you can obviously make your strips however you want.
And when you say alternate, even if you had a symmetrical design, you're alternating the direction of the seams.
That's right. So they fit together and they just sort of lock in, and then when you sew your wedges together, you don't even need pins because the seams are perfectly aligned. So I'll show you how that works. I'm just going to flip these over, and you can see when I lay them together, they just fit perfectly.
Right, right.
So I'm just going to go ahead and sew these two together with a 1/4 inch seam. And here we go. And just make sure that you don't sew your seams in the wrong direction. And we'll just go all the way down. Oops, I got one seam caught.
That's just because you're going for the dress. But you know, at home, I know you.
At home, I'd be very careful.
A stiletto or a.
So there you've got your seams perfectly aligned. They're all totally straight. And what I like to do is press my seams open. And so it's best if you sew pairs together, press your seams, then sew your pairs together, and so on.
Okay.
Until you get 5 each, and then I'll show you what those look like.
All right.
So here I've got my 5 wedges all sewed together. Now at this point you do have a left and a right, or a front and a back, whatever you want. So you don't want to get those mixed up.
Okay.
So you want your other pieces like your lining and interfacing just to give you a little bit of structure. So basically all I do is lay this on my interfacing, trace it out, and then I just bring my line in a little bit so I don't have interfacing in the seams.
Okay.
And then I do the same thing with my lining and some batting as well. And don't worry if it's not perfect, because you'll trim it all later.
Okay. So you do that 2 sets?
Yes, for 2 linings, exactly. So here I have a lining and a batting, and you just want to sew your lining to your outside piece, just right along there, and I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay. And you fuse the interfacing
To
the
the
lining
lining piece,
already?
that's right.
Okay.
And here you can see how my seams are trimmed, just to sort of cut down on the bulk right in this area a little bit. So let's get that sewn together. Just another 1/4 inch seam. Don't worry about it being perfect because you won't be seeing this anyway, but I do like to have clean finish inside and out. So here you have your seam, and then you just want to sort of fold this out, press your seam allowance to the lining, put your batting right there, just sort of position it, fold that over, and then just quilt however you want.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Do you pin when you quilt with this? Or
I use a couple safety pins, but it's so small, it really pretty much stays in place.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move on.
Let's move on.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay, so you've got your 2 wedges, and you can see how they're finished. And I just did very simple quilting here, and I've got my left and right.
You've got the one finished edge and then 2
yes,
unfinished edges.
exactly.
Okay.
You just have the one finished edge, and the reason I finished that one is because I use these decorative zippers, and I just sort of lay that on top, but I like to have it clean on the inside for when I open it up. So to arrange these zippers, you just sort of want to pin that on. And the only thing to remember for these is to make sure that you leave enough room on the back so you can get the zipper head.
Clearance, I guess. What is
yes.
it, like 1/8 of an inch, roughly?
Yeah, about 1/8 of an inch.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then you do a top stitch just very close to the edge of the zipper, and then I usually turn it over and do another top stitch close to the edge of this side on both sides. And then when that's done, this is what it looks like.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
You make zippers look so easy.
These decorative zippers are very easy.
Okay.
You just really lay it on top, and you don't even need a zipper foot for this outside one, but when you turn it over, unless you want to finish it by hand, you will need a zipper foot to sort of get right up close to those teeth. But at this point, you just want to make sure that all of your pieces match. You know, we're going to fold it in half like this. So make sure that, you know, everything, I might trim that just a little bit.
Okay.
Otherwise, just fold it, make sure that everything matches, and you're going to put your binding on. And I use bias binding because of all these curves. And I cut it 1.25 inches wide.
Because this is a single fold binding?
Yes.
Okay, not a double.
No.
That would be a lot. A lot of layers. Because we've got
I think it would be too
many more layers than we typically have with a quilt here.
Exactly, yeah. Double batting, no interfacing because I cut that off,
but
that's why.
Sure.
So to start your batting, you want to start at the bottom of the zipper. Just sort of pin that in place, and you can trim that straight if you'd like. And we'll just start pinning. Do a 1/4 inch seam all the way around. And you want to pin, 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 miter that corner, and go all the way up to the top of the zipper.
And now it's long by design.
Yes.
You've got that long tail there for a reason.
Yes, because there's a little wrist strap, or you could make it a shoulder strap if you wanted to.
Wow, that would be pretty.
That would be bizarre, but
Seems kind of disco to me. I don't know.
maybe I'll try it. So you've got your binding sewn on, and it's just on the one side. Now all we have to do is finish this. So we'll just take this and do a tiny little fold right there, and then fold that over your seam and pin. And now you can either finish this by hand, or you can go ahead and finish it by the machine. Whatever you like.
What do you like?
I like to finish it by machine.
Okay.
So yeah, I usually do it from the front, stitch in the ditch, and it will catch the fold on the back. And then when you get up to here, do the same thing. Got your fold, fold it over. And then for the tail, you just sort of fold in the raw edges to the center, fold it over one more time, and then you'll top stitch that.
Close to the fold?
Yes.
Okay.
And all the way up.
And then how do you secure it back? How do you loop it back around?
So when it's folded and top stitched, you just have a long strip. And basically what I do is fold it down, see where I want it to measure, and then I tack it by hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just hand finished everything.
Easy enough.
So that's pretty much it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Then you've got this cute little bag for evenings out, or just a quick run, or when you just need a few items.
If you're a flamenco dancer, if you just want to walk around looking mysterious, whatever you like.
We've given you many ideas of what you can do with a stylish little bag. Well, thank you very much for playing around with the rulers in the first place, and then
Absolutely.
making this bag and sharing it with us, because it's just adorable, and it'd be a great gift item or
It's a
quick
lot
little
of fun.
item. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed this. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters community, is brought to you by Husqvarna Viking, keeping the world sewing for over 140 years.